confidence. Everyone wants it. Most people don't understand it. Most people especially don't understand how to create it. So if I claim to understand it, does that make me confident about what I know, or does that make me arrogant? So in case you're wondering, yes, that is the Great Pyramid of Giza, right above my finger, right here. I am in Egypt right now, specifically Giza, Egypt. I'll be touring the pyramids a little bit later. I'm sort of on vacation right now. Before I really get into this, let's talk about what confidence is not. Most people think of confidence as this puffed out chest, this going at something, feeling confident and focused on like, oh, I'm feeling confident, I'm doing this thing. But actually that's quite the opposite. Confidence is not being so self-conscious. And so there's so much out there in the world of personal development that is talking about like how to create confidence. And it's this over focus on yourself or your sense of self or your self-concept, this idea of like, yes, I feel confident, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna, tackle this thing, I'm gonna do this thing. It's actually not real confidence, because if you've experienced that before, you know it really doesn't last. True confidence lasts. So if it seems like it's this state that's sort of coming and going and you can pump it up, or a lot of people in NLP use anchors, and so you sort of create this temporary sensation of confidence, but then it leaves you later. That's not really what true confidence is. So think of this, any hyper focus on yourself, as really the opposite of confidence. It's self-consciousness. When you're self-conscious, you're not confident. And if you can think of times in your life when you've gone out and done something like public speaking, or you had to get something right and you keep telling yourself, okay, don't screw up, or feel confident, and you maybe say affirmations and I can do this. You're putting all this emphasis on the I can, or I can't, or don't screw up, or I really can do this, or I have lots of confidence, and you really put all this hyper focus on self. It's really hard to be confident. And if you think about the opposite of this the state of flow. When you're in flow, you're not conscious at all. You're not self-conscious at all. As soon as you become self-conscious, that's when you break the flow. So true confidence is not any of these sort of little tricks to temporarily boost your confidence. They may feel good, they may have their place, they may be able to get you out of a jam in certain circumstances, but it's not what true confidence is. I want you to think for a moment, what are you truly confident about? And while you're thinking about that, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button right down below the video here. I've had some people tell me, Damon, I don't feel confident about anything. And I tell them that there's no way that that is actually true, and I can demonstrate that right now. What you might be thinking, or what you might be falling into, is a trap where you're overlooking your confidence. You're not realizing what you are truly confident about, because true confidence is oftentimes not conscious. You're not really thinking about it. And that's why you're confident about it, is because you're not thinking about it. You're not having that sort of self-consciousness. So if you're not self-conscious, you're just going about doing something. That's what true confidence is. If you think about it, I think one of the things that we do, most of us do, that we're really confident about to the point where we don't think about it, is driving. We drive everywhere, and we never stop to consider whether or not I'm confident about driving. We just don't think about it. We just get in the car and we do it. How would you like to have that kind of confidence about the things that you're not confident about, that you want to be confident about? That's what true confidence is. It's not that sort of self-consciousness, I'm super confident, I'm super pumped, all that. That's not the same as when you're just driving a car and you're not thinking about it, you're not self-conscious about it, you're just doing it. And so it's the just doing, without second guessing yourself, without doubting yourself, that is true confidence. So what's happening is you overlook what you are most confident about, because you're not really thinking about it. You're not really conscious of it. And then you might start to think of yourself as not a confident person, because you're not acknowledging the things that you are confident about. The truth is that all of us doubt some aspects of ourselves. All of us lack confidence in some aspects of ourselves. We're not perfect beings. So we can always point at something that we're not confident about, that we can't do very well. It could be a skill, it could be a personality trait, it could be a quality. And yes, there are some things that we can work on. But if our attention is always on the things that we doubt about ourselves, we're going to overall feel like a person who is not very confident, who sort of lacks the security within themselves to go out and do the things that they want to do, because all of their attention is going to all of the things that they're not confident about. If you shift your attention to the simple things that you're overlooking, and realize that you're confident about a lot of things, then your sense of self will start to change. You'll start to realize, well, wait a minute, I am confident about a lot of things. I've just been overlooking it. And this will change the way you feel about yourself. And it's a matter of just bringing this into consciousness. It's that simple. You don't have to go out there and accomplish big things and to prove yourself. That's, I think, the biggest thing is people think that they can, if they go out there and they prove themselves, then they'll have the confidence that they want. It really doesn't work that way, because you go and you do something like that, and yes, you will get a boost of confidence. You will feel good about yourself. But if your mind is always trained on the things you're not confident about, the aspects of yourself that you doubt, doesn't matter how big the accomplishment is, you're always going to revert back to, well, what am I not doing? What do I not have? What confidence do I not have about myself, or what are the areas that I'm not confident yet about myself? It has to be a shift in the way that you're thinking about yourself. You have to change what my mentor, Steve Andreas, would call the scope. You have to open the scope of what confidence means to you to the things that you're already confident about, and acknowledge the things that you're not confident about. And they will become a lot easier to improve on. They will become a lot easier to become confident about, because you're opening that scope wide enough that you're acknowledging the things that you're confident about already. So you know you have a strong foundation. And then you're acknowledging the things that you're not confident about, and you go, okay, well, I know I can do this because I've done it here. And so now I just sort of need to fill in this gap. I need to go and go do these things. Let's drill down a little bit more and talk about what does confidence really come from. Confidence, again, like I said, does not come from these little tricks of boosting your state or, saying affirmations or something like that. You can get little boosts like that, but that's not true confidence. True confidence comes from a feeling of certainty about something. Now, you can't be 100% certain about anything. So again, if you always put your attention on the thing that you're not sure about, like let's say you're 90% sure about something, you're 90% certain about something, but you put 100% of your attention on the 10% you're not certain about, it's going to feel really uncertain because you're putting all your attention on the uncertainty. But there are many things in your life that you feel pretty certain about. That the sun will come up tomorrow, that you'll have a job. And maybe some people aren't feeling so confident about that, but some of you do. Some of you have that kind of security. What are the very simple things that you feel very certain about? I mentioned driving before. Can you drive a car? Yes, you're very certain about that. That's why you are so confident about that. Now, how did you create that certainty? Were you that certain about driving when you first started driving? Of course not. You're not certain about anything when you first start. You might be certain that you can learn it, and that's a really good place to be certain that you can learn anything. If you spend enough time with anything, you can learn it. That's a great place to start when you're a beginner and you're lacking confidence. I get people all the time coming to me saying, I want to be more confident. And it's very general. I say, okay, well, about what? What do you want to be more confident about? And they oftentimes have to think about that. They haven't really considered specifically what it is they want to be confident about, because there are always things that you're not going to be confident about. If there's something you haven't done, you're not supposed to be confident about that. And that's a survival mechanism, because if you've never flown an airplane, well, you're not supposed to feel confident about doing that. You could get yourself hurt or killed, or you can get other people hurt or killed. You got to be specific about what it is you want to be confident about, and acknowledge that you're not certain about something that you haven't done before. You need experience, and that's the other piece to this. You have to get experience in something to experience the certainty of it. You have to do enough of it to feel certain about it. And then once you have enough certainty about it, then you start to feel confident. Another example, I do Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. I'm only a blue belt. I have a little confidence in myself because I've been doing it for a few years. And so after gathering that information of doing the practice of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu for a few years, I feel a little certainty about what I can do. But I also know that there are people who are much, much better than me. So I have a little bit of certainty because I've gathered some information, and so I have some confidence about it. And if I was going against a white belt, I would feel much more confident about what I'm doing. Going against another blue belt, not so much. Going against purple belt, brown belt, black belt, I'm not going to feel so confident that I'm going to beat them, but I can feel confident that I'm going to enjoy rolling with them and sparring with them, and it's going to be fun, and that I can learn, and that I can eventually become a purple belt, a brown belt, or a black belt. I have confidence in that I can get there, but I don't have confidence I can beat those people because the evidence doesn't support that, and that's okay. That's not a problem. So put your attention on what you're certain about to help give you that sense of like you are certain about things in your life and you are confident about things in your life. And then look at the things that you want to be confident about. Don't just say in general, oh, I just want confidence. That is too big, that's too broad, that's too general. You have to get specific about what it is you want to be confident about. And then you need to go and do that thing. You're not going to experience confidence right at first about doing that thing. But again, go back to what it is you're confident about. You have learned things in your life. You're confident that you can learn. We can point at so many things in your life that you have actually learned. You've learned a language before. By the time you were, 1 year old, you were speaking words, and then now you're speaking fluently a language. You didn't even try to learn it. You just did. You've learned math in school. You've learned history in school. You've learned how to drive. There's so many things that you've learned how to do. So when you look at those things, you realize you have the confidence to learn anything. And so take the things that you want to learn that you haven't learned yet, and don't worry about whether or not you're confident in those things yet. You're not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be confident without experience. But you can be confident in learning them because you have lots of experience learning things. Go after that and just be confident that you can learn it. And gradually, as you acquire more and more experience, you'll acquire more and more certainty about what it takes to do whatever it is that you're doing. As that certainty, as you become more and more certain about it, you will become more and more confident about it. And you won't even think about it. It won't even be an issue. It won't even be a matter of confidence. You'll just go in there and do what it is that you're certain about. You'll just go in there and you'll do whatever it is that you're certain about, and you'll feel confident doing it. And you might not even realize that you feel confident about it. So confidence is important in life. We have to feel a certain amount of certainty in life. We have to operate in the world with a certain amount of confidence. Otherwise, we feel very insecure. We feel a lot of doubt. And so it's important that you acknowledge the parts of you that you're certain about. And then that will give you that sense of confidence. So in general, when we feel confident in life, we will do more. You will take more risk. You will try more. And because you try more, because you take more risk, and you do more, you will have more successes. That's just the way that it goes. You cannot put yourself out there and try a lot of things and not eventually get somewhere. It just doesn't work that way. People oftentimes want to be a success right from the start, and it just doesn't work that way. So you have to do a lot of things. You have to try a lot. So the more you try, the more you do, because you feel confident about yourself, because you're putting your attention on yourself where you're confident. The more you do that, the more you're going to try. And the more you try, the more you're going to accomplish. And when you accomplish, you're going to feel more certain and more confident. So you're going to do even more. This has a compounding effect. The more you do, the more you accomplish. The more you accomplish, the more certain you become about what it is you're doing and yourself. More confidence. You get that more confidence, you go, okay, well, there's more potential here. I'm going to do more. You become less and less afraid of failing because you realize this is all a process, and you just have to do the process. You just have to trust the process. And so confidence is so important to achieving what it is that you want, to getting out there and creating what it is that you want. But the thing is, you cannot go at it directly. This is the main thing that people are, this is the part that most people don't understand. You cannot go at it directly. You cannot go at it with affirmations and anchoring and all these things that I mentioned earlier. It just doesn't work that way. You have to start from experience, gathering enough experience to create enough certainty to create confidence. And with that confidence, you will do more, you will accomplish more, you will take more risks. You will fail a lot too, but it won't be as big of a deal. You'll just get back up and keep going. Now, the great news is you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait to go get that experience, to experience confidence. You just need to acknowledge what it is you are certain about in your life, what it is you're certain about within yourself. You can do that right now. So you can recode your life experience right now just by opening that scope of what am I confident about? What am I certain about right now about myself? It certainly doesn't hurt to journal about this. You can write it out, you can list it out. Take the things that you typically overlook and think to yourself, okay, what, just the really basic stuff. What am I certain about? Am I a kind and compassionate person? Am I certain about that? Do I care about people? Am I good at my job? Do I drive a car well? Just the basic stuff. Go through your day-to-day activities. And most of those, your habits, the stuff that's on autopilot that you don't even think about, that's some of the best stuff that you can use. And you're going to be thinking, well, God, this is really simple. Everybody can do this. Don't compare yourself to other people. That's one way that you will shoot down your confidence. You might use that to boost your confidence from time to time, to compare yourself to people you feel like who are less than you or not as good as you. But when you play that game, you also have to acknowledge that there are people who are better than you. So just step out of the game entirely. It's not good for your confidence. Don't compare yourself to other people. Sometimes it can be helpful to see a person who's accomplishing something and go, okay, well, I can do that. I know that person. I know I can do something like that. And so that's a little bit of comparison. I think that can be helpful, so go ahead and use that. But in general, don't compare yourself to other people. Just look at what you do day to day that you're not even thinking about because you feel so certain about it. And when you start putting that into your attention, or you're bringing your attention to that, bringing that to your awareness, you're going to feel more confident. And so you're going to go, okay, well, if I can do that, then I can do this other thing. That's really why confidence is so important. To do more, to break out of your limitations, to do more than to fulfill more of your potential than what you're actualizing right now. If you want to take this deeper, there is a process called mapping across, where we go more in depth on recoding those experiences. In the description right here down below, you'll see a link. Click that link and you can get access to a free PDF that will show you how to map across experiences. I wouldn't necessarily use mapping across for confidence because, like I said, you can't go at confidence directly. But for mapping across, you will choose one experience that you feel very certain about, or one area of your life you feel very certain about it, or it could even be an activity. You can look at a similar type of aspect of yourself or aspect of your life, or some sort of activity that's somewhat similar that you're not certain about, that you're not feeling very confident about. And then you'll find out how you're structuring both experiences, and then you'll map across the experience that you're not very certain about, that you're not very confident about, into the structure of the experience that you are very certain about. And this will make a huge difference. So if you want to take this deeper, like I said, get that free PDF and put that to work right away. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and the bell right down here so you can get these videos on a regular basis, which I tend to put out every Wednesday and every Saturday. And last but not least, if you can think of a friend or a family member who would benefit from this video, make sure you share it with them. Take care.